I hope everybody's having a great day. So, I put the video up asking what y'all want me to make, and it's been overwhelming. I don't even have to go any longer because not one person has asked for the takedown pins. Everybody's asked for a flash can. So, I went ahead and pulled me a piece of aluminum, and what I decided to do, because this needs to be tested, is not waste money on stainless steel, and I had some aluminum sitting here, so we're going to make a prototype that will handle, it'll handle being used, but it's aluminum, and it's not going to handle high heat, but it will prove the function of the flash can. So what I did, I got myself a piece of aluminum round stock I had already bored out at one point in time, and that I had sitting on my shelf, and I got some boxes of scrap around here, so I got quite a bit of aluminum sitting around. And I found a piece that's going to be perfect for it. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to turn the goatee down. I think I'm going to go for 1 1/8, 11250. And then we're going to face it. And then I'm going to do my bore to 1 inch. And I'm going to thread this side. And I have a little time lapse thing I'm going to go ahead and start using and get myself familiar with it. So this first video will be time-lapse so you can see more of the machine processes, as well as I'm going to learn a little bit about how it is when I start producing the video, putting pieces together, and how it looks and how I'm going to want to blend into this in the future on future videos. But I am going to play with the time-lapse in this video so you can see the entire machining process and see it quickly, see it actually being done. It's going to be sped up, but we got to learn a little bit, so here we go. So here we are. I'm gonna I'm gonna shut this off, and I'm put it on the time lapse thing, and I'm gonna go ahead and do the OD, the facing, and do the bore, and then I'll move on to the next operation, and we'll talk a little bit in between. So let me get busy here, and I gotta turn this off by manually now. I don't no longer have a remote because this phone I have on I kind of rigged up a holder to hold the phone steady looking in this direction at the lady, because I haven't been able to do that. And always holding the camera with a gimbal in one hand, and trying to do things with the other. And here I got both hands free. But, I don't have the ability to turn the record on and off. So then we can do this and we'll move on. We're shooting for 1 1/8, which is 1.1250. And I'm sitting at 1 point, hold on, let's get a good measurement. This is with veneer now. 1, 2, 3, 5. I didn't go crazy trying to set my draw up. I just wanted to be within 5 thou. So we're there, within like 1.5 thou. Okay. Okay, I did that time lapse. Turned the OD down, we did a face, we did the bore, and we did the thread. We did the undercut and the thread, and there it is. We'll zoom in a little bit. There you go. So we did a 28 pitch thread. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in here and we're going to part this off at 1.5 inches. It's a little more than 1.5 inch. I'm going to turn around in the lathe. I'll probably put the forge jaw in, we'll indicate it in, and then we'll bring it in the length of 1.5 inches, and then we'll do a thread, an internal thread on the other side. And then the outside of the can will be done. And then we'll get moving on to the rest of it. So I'll bring you back. I'm not going to show you the part off because it's not a big deal. I'm going to go ahead and do that, get it set up, and then we'll bring it back. I took it out of the lathe. I went ahead and did a time lapse on the cutoff, so it's either going to be in the video or it's not. It's going to be really fast because it didn't take very long because my walls are thin. So we have the one side threaded. See my undercut. You can see the thread in there. Thread's beautiful. So now I need to put the forge on the chuck so we can indicate this into 0. So our thread on this end is concentric and uniform with the thread on that end, the one I just did. And it'll be concentric with the OD of this part and the ID of this part. And that's what we're going to do. And excuse me. oh, oh, okay. And when you're drawing on something that's this thin wall, you will deform it if you put too much jaw pressure on. So what we're going to do here to make sure I don't have any deformity on the roundness and concentricity of this side of this part, I'm only going to jaw on maybe an inch of it, 3/4 of an inch, and have a little bit sticking outside the jaws that don't have any jaw pressure on whatsoever. And then we're going to cut our thread on this end. We're going to do the undercut, cut the thread, and this part of the can will be done. Then we have to do the internal, and the internal is going to be and the cap. We're going to do a front cap, and then the internal flash catcher is going to be threaded on the OD, so it's going to thread in, and then it'll have a muzzle thread in it as well. Excuse me, and that's how it's going to be. So, anyways, this thread is only 250 deep. The undercut is 100 thousandths wide. So the thread 250, undercut 100, that's 350 total depth right there. Not a whole lot. We did a 28 TPI, and we're going to repeat it on this side. 300 deep, the whole depth, 100 thou undercut, 250 thou width of thread, and let's get busy. I'll bring you back when I'm set up and ready to rock and roll. Okay, I thought I'd bring you right back. I decided to go ahead and make the cap and do the thread on it. That way I'm going to put it in, and when I jaw on this, on the forejaw, it's going to give it a lot more rigidity. It's going to give it integrity. That way, when the jaw pressure comes on, it's going to help me keep it less deformed. Actually, it'll probably help me keep it really close to 0. And I've made many things like this in the past where I would have gone ahead and made a round puck that would fit down in here, that when I jawed on it would tighten down. It would be just about 1,000ths smaller in diameter, so it would just slide in, and then we would jaw on it, and that would help maintain the integrity of the concentricity of this under jaw load in the chuck. So I'm going to go ahead and do the cap and thread it so we can put it in place when we jaw on this to cut the thread on the other side. So I thought I'd bring it back and let you know I changed things up a little bit. Okay, let's see what we got here. My doctors told me they wanted me to wear a mask all the time in here, even with the filter. And I just couldn't agree with that. Okay, there we go. We got it on the first shot. Very nice. Okay, I don't have the microphone on right now, so it's just a camera microphone, so the audio quality is a little crappier. I apologize. So now we're ready to part this off. There's just enough there I can do it. I had a scrap piece of aluminum again, so I decided to go ahead and make a cap out of that piece of aluminum, and then we'll make the rest out of another piece. So there you go. Got to go here and chamfer that. Our bore's done. I went ahead and made the bore concentric because this part, this piece of aluminum already had a bore. Actually, it was the bore I wanted. So, excuse me. Oh boy. And yeah, by the way, for anybody that doesn't know, I can stand up and walk. It's just uncomfortable. So when I got to do operations like this, I stand up out of my wheelchair. And but anyways, let's get this out of the lathe and I'll bring it in, then I'll show it to you on the bench before I turn around and do the thread on the other side. Okay, I'm done with the cap. There it is. I just blew it off, but I didn't clean the oil out of the thread, so let's do that real quick. We already know it fits, but I figured I'll go ahead and do this before I set it up. Where's my deburring tool? I'm gonna take the sharp edge off the inside of this. There you go. There's our cap, threaded. Nice big bore, so don't retain any, don't reduce any decibel. And we can use multiple calibers through it. But here we go. So one side's done. We still haven't done that side. Remember, we did this so we can jaw and give it a little bit more integrity. So let's put it on. Now I'm going to put a little spanner cut in this so I can take a spanner wrench and tighten it. So there you go. The front is done. And there's a reason I made that cap that wide. It's because my spanner wrench is almost 200 thousandths wide. And I only made it 150. So it's still 50 thousandths short of the spanner, but it'll be enough there to get a nice tooth jawing on from the spanner. The tooth will grab it real nice and firm. So there we go. Look at that. You can barely see the matching of it. That's pristine work right there. But then again, I expect this out of myself, and you should expect it out of me too. Don't ever expect me to do shit work, because it isn't going to happen. So here we are. Now that's in. Now when I jaw on this, and we'll wrap this with brass shim stock to soften it and make sure we don't mar the outside of this. I'm considering putting this in the rotary table and doing some flutes, fluting it as well. And I'm going to do that because it's going to look great. And there you go. That's how good our cap is. Look at that. Look at that fit. Good stuff. Good stuff. So there we go. That's the front. That's the front of it. Nice big bore. We don't want to reduce decibel at all. That's the criteria, the difference between a suppressor and a flash can. A flash can is going to reduce flash, where a suppressor reduces the report, the decibels of the gunshot. We're not doing that. That's illegal, and I don't go there. So we got one more thing to do on this, and that's internal thread there. Then we're going to take this piece of aluminum here, and we're going to make the internals. And the internal is going to have the OD thread to match the ID thread, along with the backside having the muzzle thread put in it. So the back's going to have quite a bit of work done on one part. Okay, I'm going to call this a day. It's got to be dinner time, and I actually have some appetite today. My appetite's been fairly good, but still, I'm going to, you know, I'm not a person that hides things, especially from the people that are supporting me. I have to stimulate my appetite once in a while. This disease I have just eats you alive. There used to be many years ago in the 1800s, if any of you all are familiar with consumption, and that was tuberculosis. And they called it consumption because it consumed the body. And this does a very similar thing. It takes weight off you. I lost a total of a good solid 50 pounds. At one time, it was close to 60. And I put about 13 pounds back on, and I'm having trouble getting any more than that. But it's taking quite a bit of work and making sure I eat a lot to make sure I maintain it. So that's what's going on with that. So it's time for me to eat. I'm probably going to finish this up tomorrow and get this video up tomorrow night. And I messed with this time-lapse thing again. We'll see how this turns out. One thing for sure, you'll see almost all the machining. I did not film the cutoff, the part off of that, but that's what I parted off of. And all I did was turn around, and I realized my finish was so good on the front of that from the part off blade that I didn't even have to face it. So all I did was put a little chamfer on it, and I did that with a file because it was I had to put some of my milling machine parallels behind it to get it nice and parallel to the chuck, and so there was no wobble in it because there wasn't a whole lot to jaw on, and it worked just fine. I planned it that way, and I had just enough Now, but instead of bringing the tool in and putting the chamfer on it, I used a file, and I put that little chamfer on the OD there. So this is it. Everybody have a good night, and I'll be back on this tomorrow, and we'll finish this video up, and we'll get it uploaded for y'all to check out. Good morning. It is cold. 4 degrees here in Maryland. So I came out here this morning. It was 42 degrees in here, and I don't like my machines getting that cold. So this morning. It's already up to 56.1. 56.1. It was 42 when I came in. I cranked the heat up, and it's taking forever to warm it up in here. But either way, I got to get my machines up to, a little warmer, and I'll get my lathe warmed up, and we'll get busy back on this flash cam. So last night when I went in, this is where we were. The cap was made. Beautiful fit. You can barely even see where it comes together. So today, or this morning, once I get it up to about 65 in here and I warm up the lathe, we're going to put this in. We're going to cut our ID thread. We'll do our undercut. Then we're going to cut the internals to it and do the OD thread on that, and do the slotting on the inside for the flash to have an expansion area to go into. And then we'll put the muzzle thread on. Unbelievably cold here this morning. And I know we have it good compared to other people. So I feel for everybody that lost power and stuff. There's some people local here that lost power, and I just can't imagine. Last summer we lost power for 3 days, and it was hot. Where we ran the air conditioner on a generator, and that's all we had. That and the freezer we kept going for 3 days. And I just would rather have been that way than freezing cold like it is. So I'm thinking about everybody who's struggling this morning with no power. That's just terrible. But humans have gotten so used to luxury that we, this is how it is now. Power goes out and we can't live. And none of us are immune to this. We are who we are as a species. So anyways, I'm gonna turn this off, warm it up a little bit. Just hit 57.4, so we're getting there. Get the lathe warmed up, and we'll finish this video today, and we'll get it uploaded tonight. And I want everybody that's watching know I'm in a wheelchair. It's something I don't really touch on very much, and I haven't. The very first video I did, I said something about it. I've had 18 spine surgeries. I spent quite a bit of time in my past life recovering from spine surgeries. Some pretty nasty ones through the stomach. I had 2 through the stomach to repair my lower spine, and I've had 2 fusions in my neck. I actually have 3 fusions in my neck, but 2 surgeries. They went in here and here. So I can get up, I can stand, and I can walk. It just becomes uncomfortable, and pain increases when I'm on my feet all day. Pain goes through the roof, and so I control it in here by staying in my wheelchair. I stand up when I have to. It's hard to run a lathe and a mill sitting down. The mill's easier to do sitting down. The lathe, you have to stand up so you can look straight down into your workpiece. So I will be standing up in a little bit in these videos, and but when I can stand up and walk. I go to the grocery store. I just try to control this. I was in pain management for 11 years. And 4 years ago, it was right before Thanksgiving, 4 years ago, I took myself out of pain management, and I took myself off the opiates that they had me on for pain. It just got to the point where it was just a physical dependency that we were feeding. I was going through pain. So if I'm going to live with the pain, why be on a drug like that? And I weaned myself off. Took me 21 days. I got myself off the opiates. It was not a big deal. I didn't find it to be all that scary that so many people want to make it sound like, but I weaned off. Most people can't do that. I did, and I had pain meds left over. I actually put them in my gun safe, and they sat there for a year. I never touched them. And so that's how I did it, and I've been off for over 4 years now, a little over 4 years. It's just, it's only been a month since my 4-year anniversary. And I really don't even think about it anymore. But anyways, that is what you see here on top of the lung thing. But you know, not all of us have lives that are just smooth as glass. Um, my life has been what it's been. You know, I kind of lived on the edge for many years, racing motorcycles, and it took its toll on my body, being pitched off motorcycles well over 100 mile an hour. I've done that quite a few times, and my body took a pounding over the years. So, anyways, let's get this shut down here, and I'm going to get it warmed up in here, get the lathe set up, and I'll bring you back. I'm back. Okay. Um, so it's nice and warm in here. The lathe's all warmed up. Actually, I've been in here for a little while now, and it's sitting at, where's my temperature? 72 degrees in here, and that heater is just kicking on. It's supposed to be a high of 20 outside today, and I can feel it in here. Yeah, but I have a real good heater, and it'll blow you out of here. But it took a while to warm up this morning. But either way, I've got a piece of solid round in the lathe back here. I went ahead and true to OD. I turned it down to 1.175, and I faced it. So at this point, we're going to make a one piece. The last part for the can is going to be one piece. It's going to include the chamber, an OD thread, and the muzzle thread. Now I'm still going to have to turn the ID thread on this, but I can do that at the end. But once I make this part, it'll be easy for me to fit it. I have thread wires for measuring, but I don't use them. I do not own thread mics. I wish I did. At some point I would love to buy a set, but right now I just in my head know my numbers, and I cut to what I've done it long enough to where I know I don't ever have to measure it. It only takes me 1 or 2 test fits to get it at the end. Usually two. You're around two times. I hit it a lot of times. I hit it on one. At OD, the internal external threading I did the other day in that one video, I hit the numbers on both threads on the first time, and that's getting your dro set up. You know, as you cut, you take measurement and you constantly adjust your dro. You get it fine tuned down to a half a thou, and then you can trust it. When it says it's on that number, it's on that number, and that's how I do it, because it takes too long to use thread wires. And it's not necessary. I've done this long enough where I don't have to. And again, I will get thread mics at some point. I've always wanted a set, but I've been able to go without them. They're expensive, of course, but we'll get there one day. But either way, so what we're going to do here, we need to, I wrote down all the operations here that I need to do, so I'll make sure they go in order. I'm going to do this with time lapse so you see the entire machining process. So we're going to do our body ID. First thing we're going to do is turn the OD of that down to the body ID here, the outside of this can. This OD here is 1.123. I wanted 1.125, and I missed it by, it's actually 1.1235. It's a 1.5 thou smaller than I wanted to shoot for, and that was from not taking care of setting my dro up dead on. And I knew it was okay. I kind of slacked there a little bit, knowing I'd be within 5 thousandths, and that would be great. And I was within 1.5. But either way, we're going to turn our rear cap down to this OD, and then we're going to go in and we're going to turn our major diameter for our thread on in front of that and do our undercut. Then I'm going to go in and I'm going to cut that 28 TPI thread for the right here where it's going to thread in. And then at that point, I'll either cut the chamber or I'll go in and do a bore and the muzzle thread. But it'll be one of those two. This part has 2 diameters. So this is 1 inch ID right here. So the front of this internal is going to have to clear this in order to slide in. The major OD of the thread is 1.050, where this is going to be the front of the internal is going to be right around 0.997, 998, just a couple 2 or 3 thou smaller, that it slides in nicely until the thread meets up. So there's 2 different diameters on this is going to be cut, and I'll explain them at the end. And but this is what we're going to do. I'm going to try to do it in order. And I'm going to do this again on time lapse, so you're going to see the whole thing. I'm not going to do anything but shut the camera off, set a tool up, and time lapse shoot again and do another operation until this part's made. The chamber is what's going to take the longest to do, because I got to really reduce the inside of it. The OD's got to really be reduced small. And then, of course, at that point, it's going to have to go on the milling machine so I can cut 4 elongated slots in the internal where the flash can expand inside the small can. This can is going to be for a 22 long rifle, maybe a 9mm handgun, but nothing bigger. I made it very small, just to make sure there's no confusion about the difference between a flash can and a suppressor. A suppressor, again, reduces report. This ain't going to do report at all. All it's going to do is grab the flash, reducing flash. That's what we're doing, a flash can. So let's get moving. I'm going to turn the body ID, then we're going to turn the thread ID, then we're going to do the undercut, the thread, chamber, muzzle bore thread, minor diameter for our muzzle thread, and then we're going to use a half 28 tap to do the muzzle thread. At that point, I'll part it off. I might be missing a few steps here. We'll have to do the ID thread on this, and then we can test fit them. And then the last operation would be putting the slots on the internal. They're going to be nice and long and wide, so there won't be no reduction in report. All I want to do is have an expansion area to catch the flash and have the flash not go past the front of this. There's going to be a little bit because I got a pretty big bore right here for a 22 long rifle, but there's a reason. That's to make sure this thing does not reduce the decibels at all. I mean, we know this small can just isn't going to do it no matter what, but somebody out there say, oh, it reduced the decibel by 2 decibels, which is, you can't even tell, but we don't want that at all. We're not going there. We don't break the law. I don't even own a suppressor. I've never built one. I can, but I don't, because I just don't have any need for one. You can do homemade suppressors through the ATF. You can build your own suppressor and register it with the ATF. And maybe we'll do that in the future, but I've never had a reason to own a suppressor. So I've never even, gone down that road. But it might be something I'll do just so I can make one for you all. And I mean a real firearm suppressor. And remember, I'm working with what I have here. I don't have all the tooling in the world to do some of the operations that are required to make certain things without purchasing expensive tools and tooling and inserts and all kind of shit. But either way, right now I have the tooling for this. So we will get this done, and then I'll bring you back. I'll probably interrupt this time lapse to tell you what's going on, and then we'll get this made, and at the end we'll get this, we'll talk about it then. So let me get busy and get this underway over here. I'll get the camera set up, and we'll get this time lapse, and we'll machine the whole part. So I'll be back with you. Enjoy the machining part. So there was a little change up. I went ahead and put the 4-jaw in because that bore, and I went ahead and I after I indicated this in the 4-jaw, I went ahead and punched a smaller diameter than I need all the way through. This was just to make sure I was concentric. I completely missed that in the last clip. So I'm going to start showing you the tool setup before I go into time lapse. So here we are. Right now, I'm going to reduce this diameter down to my muzzle diameter. And then I'm going to go in, I'm going to cut the OD to the cap. Then I'm going to go in and get my major OD for my ID and turn down the center a little bit for clearance. And we're going to get going here. So right now, I'm going to set up a tool and go down and cut my OD 700 deep down to my muzzle OD. And what I'm thinking here is like a bull barrel 1022. Ruger 1022 bull barrel. I believe that barrel is 920 in diameter. Now I'm taking a little guess off the top of my head on that. I own a DPMS black rifle with a bull barrel on it, 16-inch bull. One of my absolute favorite rifles to shoot. I do thumbnails at 200 yards with it all day long with hand loads. But anyways, let's get the tool set up, and then we're going to go in here and do our, where did I put my tool? Well, I got to find it. We're going to go in here and get this OD cut. So I'll be right back at you. Okay, I found the tool. It was behind me on the workbench. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come in here and touch real lightly on the face of this part. And I'm going to zero right there. And that's accurate. And now I'm gonna cut 700 deep, because my muzzle thread's gonna be 700 deep. So I'm gonna make this OD, the muzzle OD, 920. And this is 1, 1, 2, 3, and OD right here. So I'm gonna cut it down to 920, 700 deep. And we're gonna time lapse that. We have now turned down to 920, 700 deep. Our internal thread is going to be exactly 700 deep. So now I'm going to go up in here. We're going to make the OD of the cap the same as the body, and that's what this is turned to right here, which is 1.123. I'm going to move in 150 thou, and I'm going to start to cut my major diameter for my 28 TPI thread. And we're going to also do the undercut. So I'm going to go in, and I have an overall length of 2.023, I think it was. Yes, right here it is. I'll put this up in front of you real quick. So right here, this is my internal overall length, my cap length, the OD cap length, and then my thread length. So my overall part length is 2.023. So from the face here, 2.023 is our overall length of the internal part. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to do an undercut, and so I can get my tool in so I can do the major diameter for the thread. So let's get that going here. Okay, I set up to do this. I just did the undercut. The undercut is done. But when I hit record, I had the camera facing the rear, or actually the front lens instead of the forward facing camera, which is what I'm using right here. So you completely missed this. But anyways, the undercut's done. I'm getting ready to move up here and do another undercut so my threading tool can come off. Then we're going to go in here, we're going to do this thread. So I'm going to do this all with time lapse at this point, and I'll make sure I get the front facing camera going. So let's get this going. Okay, we got our thread cut. Just finished it. I'm going to clean out some oil here out of it. I took a piece of Scotch-Brite to it, and just want to clean it up a little bit. Scotch-Brite's dirty. Okay, there we go. So our thread's now cut. Now, boy, breathing can be it's incredible when it hits me. The timing of it sometimes. So okay, so now we're going to go and we're going to finish cutting our depth of our chamber, and that's going to take a little while. And I'm going to use two OD tools. I'm going to use this tool, and I'm going to use this tool. They're the only tools I have set up at the moment, so I'm going to make them work. I actually might go in with my part off tool and go ahead and reduce it down considerably. Then I'll go in with those OD tools and then bring them in to real nice tolerance. So let's do that. We're going to get our overall length, and I'm going to make a little part off mark the overall length so I have a reference. And and we'll go in and cut this chamber. So let me get set up, and we'll be right back for that. Okay, me and my okays, huh? So here we go. So the only thing left to do is the muzzle thread, and I'm going to do that right after that. But I just wanted to give you and show you how this was turning out. So there's our thread. I don't know how well you guys can see that and how well this focus, but it's a beautiful thread. It's exactly the way it should be. It's just the focus just doesn't let me get these fine threads where you can see the peaks. So here's our chamber. We're still going to do our, we're going to cut slots on the mill machine. And but right now, we're just going to go in and do that muzzle thread right there, and then we're going to part it off. Now here's my reference part off mark right here. This is our overall length, and we'll part it off right there as soon as I go in and do the muzzle thread. So let me get the camera set back up, and we'll get this muzzle thread cut. We're going to do that again with time lapse. So let me get going. So here we are. Now when I'm shooting a video from right here, from this camera mount, I can't use my microphone. I got to use the camera microphone. There's not enough clearance for it to go in the side of the camera. Whew, okay. So right now, I have two things I need to do. I need to turn this down to 997, 998. I think I'm going to go 997. And I need to go in here and do my minor diameter bore with a boring bar, 700 deep, so I can cut my thread. Oh, wow. Whew. Running out of air. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So let me, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in here and turn this diameter down real quick because it's already at 1123. So we're going to cut that down real quick to 997. Then I'm going to go in again. I'm going to use the boring bar. We're going to get our correct diameter for our half 28 tap. And then we're going to go 700 deep, and then we're going to tap 700 deep. Okay, let me get moving on this, and we're going to do this in time lapse. Okay, our thread is done. That was the last operation in that time lapse you saw, was me doing the thread with a tap in the lathe. I just used the jog, and there it is, beautiful, all the way down 700, beautiful thread. So there we are, and we're already chamfered, so we're good. It's time to part off. The only thing left we have to do is cut our slots in the mill machine, and I'm not sure if I'm going to put the rotary table on or not. I already took it off and set the vise back up. So what I might do is, let me think about this. It wouldn't take long to set I want these slots 90 degrees to each other. So anyways, let's do the part off. Let's get this piece off. We'll test fit it in the can before we do the slots, and I'll do all that in front of you there. I'll talk to you about it. So I'm going to shut this off, get my part off tool set up, get it positioned where it needs to be, and then I'm going to do a time lapse of the part off. That's not going to take very long. So we got a little ahead of myself in the last clip. Now we're going to indicate the body end now, the can, and I'm going to do my ID, my internal thread here, and so I'm just going to indicate this in real quick. Then I'm going to bring you back once I have my tool set up, and I'm ready to cut this thread. This won't take long. This will be real fast. So I mean, cutting the thread is going to take 5 minutes. So let me get this indicated in, and then I'll bring you back to cut the thread. Okay, I had it in the lathe. I was trying to fit this, and sure enough, there was a deformity back there, and I had cut that OD correctly, like I said, and it would not slide through when it got into the back because of the jaw pressure. And that's why we did what we did. And still, even with the brass, got the little teeny mark on it that I'll knock off with Scotch-Brite. But we did it correctly. But here we go. This is the first fit. I literally finished cutting the thread in front of you with Oh, I'm so out of breath. Oh, on time lapse, then I was trying to fit it and I realized there was jaw pressure. So I just took it out and I started the video normally, and here we go. This is you know what? I'm gonna take the camera down and put it on the gimbal on the workbench so I can show this to you. But we'll just go ahead. There you go. How about that? All right, let me put the camera on the gimbal right here and I can talk to you. Okay, in the last clip you saw me take it out of the lathe, and I went ahead and I just screwed it in like 1.5 turn right there. But again, I know my lathe, I know my drill. I set up, I take the time and care to get my drill accurate to my micrometers and my veneer. And this had a lot of miking going on. So it was literally to the thousandths, the 10,000ths of an inch. As I cut, I adjusted my drill every so often when it would be 10,000ths off. I'd go up and adjust that 10,000ths to correct measurement. And don't take but a couple times of that, and it'll come on dead to the mic. I can mic it, and the drill will say exactly what the mic says. So because of that, I don't go out of my way to use these damn wires. And like I said earlier, I don't have thread mics. It is what it is. But anyways, I screwed it on there. Here it is. I hate the focus of this. Like I say every time, I will at some point get better cameras, and these beautiful threads will be dead in focus. But there's the end of it. And let me make this clear real quick. Because of some of the concerns people have shown that they think this is a suppressor, and it's not. A suppressor reduces report decibels. This does not at all. All it does is catch the flash. So if I don't put slots in this right here, this don't function at all. It can't. Nobody can turn me in for something I haven't done. And we all know those people are everywhere out there when it comes to guns. They will turn anybody in. They'll lie to the cops just to get somebody in trouble, because that's how these people are. We all know what side of the aisle they're on. It's sad. It's so sad what's going on in this country. But anyways, forget that. And this is it. So basically, I would put this in the rotary fixture in the mill machine. And all I would do is take a 3/16 mill, plunge down in, and cut me a slot the length of this chamber right here. Rotate it 90 degrees, cut another slot, 90 degrees, cut another slot, 90 degrees, cut another slot, until I had 4 slots the length of this. Absolutely will not reduce decibel at all. This was made for basically a 1022 long rifle. A bull barrel. So this was turned down to 920. I believe 1022 bulls are 920. I'm basing this on what I know. I have 2 1022 bulls, and I've never measured the barrels on them, but I'm certain they're the same as my DPMS bull. My DPMS bull, I just love that rifle. I do thumbnail groups at 200 yards with hand loads all day long. All day long. Plop them right in the same hole at 200 yards with that thing. 1 in 9 twist, shooting 75 grain. You know, all the myth that can't be possible. Well, I do it at 200 yards with 1 in 9 twists, and I plop 75 grainers basically in the same hole. So it works for me with 75 grain, 1 in 9 twists at 200 yards. Over that, I don't know. I haven't put a lot of 75 grains out past 200 yards with that particular rifle. So anyways, here we are. So I'm not going to cut the slots. We're going to keep this completely non-functioning right now until I turn the camera off. And then I'll do whatever I want to do. But either way, here it is. So it goes in, screws right together. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And there you go. Now you can see the chamfer is bigger back here. You see that little gap? That's not different the diameter. That's the corners are cut, chamfered a little deeper. Right here, I didn't chamfer as much, and you can barely see it even fitting this cap here. Now you can see it. So there you go. Beautiful muzzle thread. This is again, that's absolutely a half 28 and a piece of 304 stainless steel. It's the fixture I use for my muzzle devices in the lathe. So this here is just a little over 920 right here. So this is a bull barrel, stainless steel bull barrel, 1022. And there we go. And I can promise you everything's concentric. The concentricity in this part is dead accurate because that's how I work. I don't do shit work. I'll never do shit work. And there you go. There it is. Your flash cam. We just pretend it functions. But as of right now, there's no slots in it. It isn't completed anything. It's just a part I made for y'all. And I know the law. I abide by the law. I do not break the law. So I'm glad I could do this for you. Please like and subscribe. I absolutely need subscribers. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for every one of you. And I'm going to continue to say I'm grateful because I truly am. I'm just overwhelmed every morning when there's another 20 subscribers. It just, I just get excited and want to come out here and work harder. And I will work hard for you. And if you would, I lose my breath so easy. Oh, wow. Well, I'm going to be on oxygen soon. It is what it is, but we're going to win. But anyways, I will work as hard as I can for you. I won't do less. That's just how I am, and I'll maintain that. I expect precision work out of me. You should expect precision work out of me. I won't do shit work. It will never be shit work come on this channel, ever. This is machines about precision. It's about perfection. And anything less than that is shit work. And that need not apply here. So that is done. I'm going to, I think I'm going to take it easy the rest of the day. It's Christmas Eve, and it's 67 in here right now. I think it's 20 degrees outside. Let's look. I got my tablet right here. I'm not going to talk much longer. We're going to end this. It's 15 degrees outside here in Maryland. Let's see if that's what the weather bug says. It's going to come up. There it comes. I got wireless internet in here. 15 degrees. So it's 67.3 in here. Like I say, I got a real good heater, so it's comfortable in here. And I got foam all through all the walls, so it's insulated pretty well. So I'm pretty comfortable. But anyways, I love all of you, man. I love every one of you. Thank you. I don't think thank you describes how I feel. It is I'm grateful. Thank you very much. Please, if you haven't seen my channel before, please like and subscribe. And please, if you'd like to support the channel, I'm going to put my information in the description. My email will be there if you want to email me. And I'm going to put my PayPal in there. If you want to support me, great. If not, that's fine too. It isn't going to keep me from working hard for everybody. That's what I'm going to do. So everybody, it's Christmas Eve. Everybody have a great Christmas Eve, and I hope you have a great Christmas tomorrow. I might come out here and come up with a project to make tomorrow. I'm one of those bah humbug guys. Ever since I lost most of my family, it's life. I'm not the only one. A lot of people have been through this, and it's just easier on me, just to keep myself busy. So that's most likely what I'll do tomorrow. So again, thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, and I'll put my information in the description, and I'll see you in the next video. I might give you an update on what we're going to do, but I think some of these short update videos are distracting. The medical one for medical health, that was for you guys who knew I was going in Monday, and that was for you, and that was necessary. But I think I'm just going to stick to doing project videos from now on. So everybody, have a great Christmas and a great Christmas Eve, and I'll see you in the next video.